What is up guys, it's Swellheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. So, this video will be centered around gearing up your character in the WOTLK Prepatch, whether you are playing on our current progression servers, going from TBC Classic to WOTLK Classic, or if you are playing on the fresh WOTLK servers. The fact is that you can gear up your character incredibly quickly in the Prepatch. If you're like me and you have barely done any raids so far in TBC Classic, or maybe you are literally just starting TBC Classic, just to level up to 70 before WOTLK comes out, so you can play the new expansion, and maybe because of this, your gear is a little bit behind everyone else that is running around in full WOTLK gear. Well, today I'll show you guys how you can use a Prepatch to gear yourself up, and having decent gear will definitely help your leveling process in Wrath of the Lich King itself. And at the bare minimum, I would recommend you try to obtain a couple of weapon upgrades during the Prepatch, so you can have that upgraded weapon damage while questing. Okay, so method number 1 of gearing up is by doing battlegrounds and obtaining honor points. You can actually get some really sweet gear from honor points now that Blizzard have confirmed that you can buy Gladiator Gear with honor points in the WOTLK Prepatch, and this can actually be tested right now on the PTR, so I'm using footage from the PTR to show you guys that the vendor is currently up, and you can in fact buy these for honor. They are quite costly, but thankfully farming honor is pretty easy, and this means you can get yourself some very sweet upgrades pretty quickly, as this Gladiator Gear is actually quite close to Sunwell level gear in terms of item power. As you can see, different items cost different amounts of honor points, as two-handed weapons will cost you a whopping 28,000 honor points, while armor pieces such as chest, legs and helm will cost you 15,000 honor points, gloves will cost you 12,000, and shoulders will cost you 13,000. So basically, you'll be able to obtain the entire set from just one honor cap, and then you just gotta farm out an extra 28,000 to get that juicy weapon. Sure, that is a lot of honor, but especially if you're playing on the fresh servers, where everyone wants to gear up their characters to get ready for Wrath, I can promise you that gearing up through Gladiator Gear will be 100 times easier and faster than gearing up through Sunwell Gear, unless you are a streamer abusing Streamer Prio. The 4-set bonus from PvP set can actually be quite strong for some classes as well. For example, for Feral Druids, it will increase the movement speed by 15% while in Bear, Cat or Travel form, which is really helpful while questing and traveling through Northrend, and will help speed up your leveling process. So if you do have the time to do this, I would recommend trying to at least obtain that 4-set, and also weapons. Weapons should be the first priority here, as they offer the biggest upgrades and the most damage output. All of this being said, you are probably going to spend about a week of doing battlegrounds just to save yourself a couple of hours while leveling up, so unless you really want to min-max your Wrath leveling, I don't think this is something you should focus on too much. But there is one thing I want to highlight. They did not reset honor points going from Classic WoW to TBC Classic, so I'm assuming they won't for WOTLK Classic either. This means that you can farm up honor cap right now if you're planning to play on our current servers, or you can farm up honor cap in the Prepatch if you're playing on fresh servers. Then you can simply sit on that honor points all the way up to level 80 and spend that honor on some quick and easy epic items at level 80. While doing battlegrounds, you will also obtain marks, which can be turned in for even more honor points, 185 honor per mark, so you could literally be sitting on over 100,000 honor points going into WOTLK Classic, effectively allowing you to purchase several epic items the moment you hit level 80. So whether you want to buy the Gladiator Gear at level 70, so you can enter Northrend and start your leveling adventure with slightly better gear, or if you want to give yourself a head start on the gearing process at level 80 in Wrath itself, doing battlegrounds right now and in the Prepatch is a really good way to prepare for Wrath of the Lich King Classic. The next way that you can gear up in the WOTLK Prepatch is by using the actual Prepatch event to get yourself some items. There is a specific item set you can obtain or acquire from the Prepatch Scourge event, and although this item set is technically equal to Karasan gear, or maybe slightly better, it is no match for the Gladiator gear we just talked about, but it is much easier to actually obtain this Scourge Invasion item set. Additionally, there is now an additional boss inside Karasan that will drop the Arcanite Ripper Axe, a aka the Guitar Hero Axe, which is a one-of-a-kind weapon that you might want to try to obtain. In the WOTLK Prepatch, you will be able to obtain necrotic runes from various activities requiring you to push back the Scourge and defend Azeroth from the Scourge, and you can trade in these necrotic runes for various item upgrades. For example, you can buy shoulders for 15 necrotic runes and gloves for 15 necrotic runes. There's a trinket called Argent Warhorn that you can actually buy for necrotic runes as well, while the legs and chest pieces are dropped by various spawns around the necrotic shrines where you are farming for these runes. On top of all of this, you also have obviously various high level quests in Outland that will offer you really good upgrades, and I would recommend doing dungeon quests for high level dungeons and look into the Magister's Terrace for some really decent upgrades as soon as possible. Once you have found some good items, you might want to step foot inside some raids to fill out additional pieces, such as necklaces, cloaks, bracers, belts, boots, rings, and even trinkets. But this is a really personal choice if you actually want to put this much effort into gearing up your character, when the new expansion is literally right around the corner, and all of that gear will be replaced very quickly in that expansion. So yeah, there you have it guys, a couple of different ways to gear up during the pre-patch, and keep in mind grinding honor will become even easier in Wrath itself, and that change might actually happen already during the pre-patch, making the honor grind by itself even faster, and the Gladiator Gear really offers you a huge upgrade, especially if you're playing on the fresh Wrath servers. It is an incredibly easy way to gear up your characters before Wrath of the Lich King Classic comes out, and if you are trying to hit Realm First 80 for your class on one of these fresh servers, which I actually think quite a few people are trying to go for, you will need some gear in order to do so. At the end of this video, I also want to take a moment to shout out my Wrath of the Lich King Classic Gold Guide for those of you interested in maximizing your gold making potential in Wrath. This is a 93 pages long document I created specifically for making gold in Wrath, and I've even made another 31 pages PDF document specified for gold making on fresh servers that will be sent out to everyone who has purchased the guide. The guide contains investments that can literally make you thousands of gold, the very best Wrath gold farm, how to make gold with professions, and a whole lot more. Another good thing to mention here is that I will keep updating this guide throughout WOTLK Classic, and once you've purchased the guide you will receive all of those updates for free. Upon purchasing the guide you will also receive an invite to an exclusive gold making Discord server for WOTLK Classic. So what are you waiting for? That is a lot of value from one purchase. Go and check it out through the link down below, and just to give you another incentive to check it out, you can literally get the guide for half price by using the code Solheim. That is pretty much it for today though. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below, and while you're down there, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.